Brothers and sisters, welcome back to Williams to World Drivers Champion, the F1 Manager series where I, the resident Bashbur's F1 expert, take a fallen giant of the sport and try and get them back where I feel like they belong. I really don't think it's going that well at the minute, but we'll get there. So last time out we did the Spanish Grand Prix and it went alright, it was fine. Can't really complain an awful lot. So in the interim, we've made our way to the British Grand Prix, and that means there has been a couple of races since then. First up, we had Monaco, where we qualified 17th and 20th, which was fine. That's kind of where we were expecting to be qualifying at the minute, and kind of what we thought would be happening. But when we got to the race, we did see that there was rain scheduled, so I was crossing my fingers that would be able to make some decent strategy calls and gain a few positions, because my experience with doing Monaco in F1 Manager is that overtaking is nigh on impossible. Started the race fine, couple of early battles with Stroll, and then at lap 10 Latifi did what Latifi does best, and that is crash into walls, which is fine. The rain started around lap 18 and we made a decent pit stop. I think we got there and we went straight to the wets to try and do that gamble, and it paid off a little bit, but it made me realize that there is maybe a major flaw in the way Monaco is handled in this game right now, and that is the drivers going down the pit straight maybe take into account too much the drivers who are coming out of the pit lane, because there were multiple times where Alex would slow right down to not like pass someone that was coming out of the pits, even though technically they are two separate, completely separate racing lines. And I feel like it maybe cost us a little bit, and we couldn't make up a couple of the positions that I felt like we should have made up. So that meant that we finished the race in 17th and 20th where we started. Don't be don't be confused by this race report I'm about to put in the screen. Latifi actually finished 5 laps down, not 3. I'm really considering getting rid of him for the next episode, because God, he is so bad. The pit lane did kind of mess us up, but I don't think we would have been much higher up, maybe only 15th or 16th. Next up was Baku, where we qualified 19th and 20th. I really don't know what went wrong here. I could not tell you, we just didn't have any speed. Ocon spin on the first lap, didn't really affect us too much, and a virtual safety car happened on about lap 20. Again, didn't really affect us too much, we couldn't really take massive advantage of it. And then Verstappen crashing on lap 25 put him kind of out of contention for the lead of the race, and Tsunoda crashing on lap 43 as well. But overall, it was a very uneventful race for us at the back, where we finished where we qualified, again in 19th and 20th. Canada, during qualifying, we had a spin from Albon, which was not kind of useful, and we qualified 19th and 20th, but we were a lot closer time-wise, which I think was nice to see after kind of how disappointing Azerbaijan was. Wet start for the race. Alonso spins in the first lap, and Albon makes it all the way up to P15 in the first lap, which is good. Albon pits lap 29 and has a spin on lap 51, but at the end of the day we do manage to bring home the cars in 17th and 19th, both drivers making up positions, which was good to see. So as you can see, Leclerc still kind of storming ahead at the top of the Drivers' Championship at 177 points. What's that? A good 38 ahead of Sergio Perez in second. The battle for second is very tight, with only 4 points separating second from fourth. And I do expect Max to, once he stops crashing and DNFing in all the fucking races, to kind of have a wee bit of a comeback. Kevin Magnussen in the Haas has steadily picked up points, so he is kind of pulling away from this 0-point battle. Daniel Ricciardo still very much in touch, and so is Norris and Zhou Guanyu. Hopefully, I'd say by the end of the season, I'd like to think we are ahead of at least one of those people. But I've lost all positivity in the last couple of races. In terms of the constructors, not much has changed. Still far at the top, still Red Bull chasing them, and still Mercedes running their own race in third, and we are just slowly losing speed to McLaren, which is unfortunate. But again, I would like to hope we are close to picking up points. Fingers crossed. I'm losing the will, guys. I'm losing the will. So in the interim, with all those races out of the way, we have been developing a new chassis. We've got that manufactured as well. It's given us a little bit of performance, not too much, but still maybe enough to get us a couple of places in qualifying. We have designed and created a new side pod, I believe. I can't remember if we've actually got it manufactured or not. Yes, we have. It's just installed in the car. Oh no, it's currently being manufactured. Okay, that's fine. It's not manufactured yet. That's okay. We've also continued to scout drivers. So if I sort this, we scouted Pierre and Yuki. Both had less than zero interest in joining Williams, and you know what? I don't blame them. So what I've kind of settled on the idea that I'm probably going to sign either Jack Doon or Oscar Piastri for next season. Which is fine. That's okay. Maybe Percher's also in there. I haven't really fully decided. I need to maybe just dig into their stats a bit more and see who's going to give me the best bang for my buck. And then with the idea maybe being that I'm going to probably sign either Dennis Hauger or Oliver Behrman as my new reserve driver for next season. Because on the face of it, Jack Aiken is 26 and he is 66 rated. Which, let's be 100% honest, is god-awful. He's not fit for F1. It's just the way, the long and the short of it is he's not happening in F1 anytime soon. And that's fine. The other, just out of 70, Nick I'm recording this shortly after the Italian Grand Prix where Nick De Vries has driven a blinder for Williams. So I'm actually maybe considering him as well. I'll actually start scouting him once the scouts have finished for Behrman and Hauger. He's not much better than Latifi, but he would be better, full stop. Which is fine. And then the other thing we have done is we have renewed Alex Albon's contract till the end of next season. He took a decent pay bump. I think he went up by about $1 million per year, which is fine. And he's got a target of if he can hit 12 or above in a race, we give him a nice wee bonus because the man deserves it. He's been carrying this team right now for all it's worth. And that's kind of all I have to say about that. Albon's sticking with the team for at least another season. We'll see by then kind of what sort of car we have, and if we have a car that I feel like is maybe outperforming Albon, we'll look to see what happens. I don't want to sign anyone for too long because the car will be rapidly evolving, so having a driver in it for too long, it might just end up being shooting ourselves in the foot. So with all that said, I think we are ready to get into the race weekend, the British Grand Prix, and I shall see you when we are into qualifying.
We're here in legendary Silverstone, where the very first Formula One World Championship Grand Prix was held back in 1950. It's a place where every tuft of grass breathes motorsport, and the crowd are already crackling with excitement. Silverstone demands a lot of power from cars, with numerous twists and historic turns. Downforce is going to be a key factor to manage if teams want to succeed here. The season is about halfway through, and it makes me wonder what else is in store for the teams. Well, there's only one way to find out. Okay then, let's get to it.
So here we are at the start of qualifying for the British Grand Prix. Practice went alright. We're actually ahead of at least one of the Aston Martins in every practice session, which I don't think has actually ever happened before for us. So positive mental attitude. Here we go. We've also taken into account that we have now started actually using pretty much the scrub engine and gearbox and ERS for all the practice sessions. So we're actually going into these races with a pretty, I don't want to say a new engine and gearbox and all that stuff, but definitely one that is probably a bit better off than you would expect. So let's get Latifi out, let's get Albon out, and let's see where we end up after our first set of runs. So Albon coming on to the pit straight now, going through the first few corners. We don't look like we'll hopefully get blocked by any traffic, which is nice. So hopefully a nice clean run for both the boys out there. I cannot remember where the sector timing lines are in Silverstone. Let's see how we're doing. So 26.46 for Latifi and a 26.39, so about about a 5,000th of a second difference so far. That is all right by me. Hopefully Latifi doesn't spin. Hopefully Albon doesn't spin, because I feel like that's all they've been fucking doing recently. So we got a 39.2 in the second sector for Latifi and a 39.19. Again, about that 6,000 to 7,000 difference between them. Very, very close between them. Not usually that close, which is weird to see. Hope maybe Latifi's feeling punchy after all my comments about him. Is that a slow Alpine ahead of Albon, which might not help us? I don't think so. I don't think that's a slow Alpine. And Albon comes in with a... I need to find the times. Alright, so we got a 130.2 for Latifi and a 129.9 for Albon, which... Where does that... Oh, yellow flag in Sector 1. So that puts us ahead of Joe. Probably he was blocked. Not too far behind Norris, which is actually really nice to see. Let's get these guys back to the pits. We'll get on new tires and see where we're standing before the next set of runs. So we're coming around at the final corner to start Albon's second and final run in qualifying. Latifi is a bit down the road behind him. Hopefully Albon will be able to start improving on his times. We are currently out of or in 14th place, so we are going into Q2 as it stands, but I do feel like Zoe, Ocon, Ricardo maybe all had poor runs and were getting blocked, so we might be able to, or well, they might shoot up ahead of us, but we won't know. Maybe we are just that damn good. But Sector 1, Alex does go faster, which is good to see. We'll need to wait and see. Latifi's about 5 seconds down the road. We'll need to wait and see where he comes in. Latifi does not go faster in Sector 1. Color me surprised, boys. And let's see where everyone's... everyone does seem to be improving. Latifi, obviously, maybe the only one that's not. What a fucking shock. But like Joe and Tsunoda not going faster in the middle sector, which is weird to see. We'll see if Albon can do better in his middle sector. That'd be very good. Where is the middle sector? Finish. He does go better in his middle sector. That is good to see. A lot of people around us maybe not going faster. My hope is going. I'm optimistic, boys. Come on, Alex. Do us pride. Oh, if Alex can do this, I might actually... I'll be so happy. It does need to make up so much time. Alex runs the final corner, goes over the line, does not get out. He only goes about a 10th faster. We are 17th, and Latifi likely going to be propping up the rear here. Last man to cross the line. Where's he going to finish? He stays 20th. So another 17th and 20th. Not amazing. That gap between us and Ricardo is pretty substantial, unfortunately, but we'll have to make do with that. No rain or anything scheduled for the race. Pierre Gasly, as you can see there, does have a grid penalty, so we'll need to see where he ends up by the end. But going out in Q1 is Ricardo, Albon, Stroll, Vettel, and Latifi. So I will see you guys just before the race, go through the strategies of what we're planning to do, and see how that goes with us. So just before the race here, the strategy, I think we're not expecting rain at all throughout the race. So I think going with a one stop is probably the best choice as we go medium to hards. Try and let's race a little bit at the start. Albon has been very good at the start recently, so being able to try and make up those couple of positions at the very start will be very good, and hopefully we'll see what we can do there. No other changes. We've got everyone going balls to the wall at the very start. We still don't know where Gasly is starting. I'll go just as we look at the qualifying here. He does have a grid penalty. There's no way of seeing what the final race grid will look like. I just see he has a grid penalty, but it doesn't tell me what for or for how much. So we will see at the very start of the race, but I will hand it over to Crofty to hype us up for the start of the race, and I'll see you at lights out.
It's bright and sunny as the drivers line up on the grid. Here we have Alexander Albon. They're starting in the bottom half of the grid today, so there's a lot of cars between them and the podium. Next up for the team, it's Latifi. With their starting position in the back 10, they'll have their work cut out for them. Will their hard work pay off today? Hold on tight, it's the British Grand Prix. And it's lights out.
Lights out, and here we go. Gasly is starting at the very back, so we have actually made a position already. And now Albon has instantly went down there. He is down to 17th, but able to go up the inside, try and take that position back from Stroll. You can hang it around the outside here. That turns into the inside again and should leave us in a good position. We are getting tucked. Oh, we are getting tucked up behind the Haas and the McLaren though, and Stroll might have us here. Let's see what Alex can do. He gets the power down, but oh, there is a big stall there as everyone just stops. Let's see if we can get Ricardo here as well. Maybe we just don't have the power for it right now, but if we can stick on the inside and a ballsy on the brakes, Alex goes down the inside, gets that position. But is Ricardo staying with us? He is. He's going through on the inside again, and we are going to go through here down the old pit straight, or down one of the old straights where obviously Lewis and Max had their infamous crash in the 2021 season. We are a bit far behind Ricardo right now, so that's not really going to be an overtaking position for us, but we'll keep pushing, we'll keep trying. We may need to worry more about Stroll than Ricardo. But Latifi is sitting nice behind Vettel. Gasly has not really made up any positions yet, which is good. That faster car behind us might not be the best for us, but we'll keep trying. Albon is slowly losing ground to Ricardo, unfortunately, so he's going to have to worry probably more about the Aston Martins and start staying in his own race and just hope that maybe the guys ahead of us make a little bit of a mistake. Would be nice to get back behind Ricardo in a lap or two's time for when the DRS starts. That'll be our main challenge right now as we start lap 2. Gonna let the guys stay aggressive on the tires, as there was a little bit of leeway in terms of the tire delta. So we'll let the guys stay pushing on these mediums and see how we're feeling about halfway through the stint and see if we need to conserve a bit more tires. We are dropping Stroll, which is good, and we are making up ground on Ricardo, which is even better. Latifi kind of losing ground here. I'm expecting Gasly to make short work of Latifi, to be perfectly honest, once the DRS starts anyway. And hopefully we can keep Stroll more than a second behind so we can make use of the DRS of Ricardo, and he will have no DRS on us and let us just kind of pull away from that back marker pack. We'll maybe even let Alex keep deploying his battery for the end of this lap to make sure we stay within that 1 second, because it is very borderline right now, and I would like to make sure that stays fairly in our favor. But other than that, the race does seem like it's settling in a little bit already, which is fine. Kind of what we expected. We just need to make sure we stay with Ricardo here. And if that means deploying more of our battery than usual, then so be it. This is the first DRS zone we'll have against Ricardo. Let's see how much on the straight we can actually get up behind him. It is definitely helping. We are definitely able to get up behind him, and hopefully maybe even on the next straight look to have a go around the outside on him through the fast corners. We are only 3/10 behind him. Why is this not? I thought there was DRS here. Maybe it's it must be on the other back. Let me double check where the DRSs are, because no, I need to go here. I need to go reports, circuit information. Okay, that's the 2 straights they're on. Okay, so I completely forgot. So we are able to hang through Ricardo through those fast, high-speed corners, which is good. And Alex has got the DRS coming out of that corner. Will he be able to make the move stick? It is going to be very close as we go into the corner. Oh, if he can hang in there, he does. Ricardo is going to have maybe the inside line for this corner, though. Well, let's see. No, Ricardo concedes the place, and that is Alex up to 15th. That is good. As we saw also there, Latifi has dropped down to 20th. To be expected, unfortunately, and it's just a case now of we need to hope Albon has the speed to pull away from Ricardo enough to not let DRS be too much of an issue. This is going to be the first DRS zone. We'll let Alex use his ERS to defend here, knowing that Ricardo will be a threat here. So let's see how this goes. He's not able to make too much of an attempt on us. We'll let Alex go back to neutral again here and hope that Ricardo can't hang with us too much. But it does look like we were settling into a race for 15th or 16th with Ricardo. We are losing a bit of time to the likes of Schumacher and Tsunoda. But we did, like, at the end of the day, we beat Ricardo there on pace on those couple of corners. DRS obviously helps, but we were able to get up behind him and get ourselves into that position, which is always a good sign, in my opinion. Oh, Ricardo is very close. This DRS may just really play into his hands here. Don't really have the battery to defend it, unfortunately. But yeah, like, compared to how quickly we closed up on Ricciardo, the DRS really doesn't seem to be helping Ricciardo too much. We might actually be okay here. Obviously, we still have this at the final pit straight DRS to go. So we'll have to see if Ricciardo can make a move off this final corner. But Ricciardo doesn't seem to have the straight line speed to just blow past us like we did with him. So maybe 15th is actually going to be secured for us. So we rejoined the race at the start of our pit window. A two-way fight with Ricciardo for 15th quickly became a three-way fight as Gasly made his way through the field. And now we are kind of running by ourselves. Gasly has pulled a wee bit ahead of us. But our tires are looking alright, so we've told Alex and Nick to just push with their tires. Hello, cat. Just push with their tires, grind them down, and we'll probably let... The way it's going, I actually might let Alex pit first and maybe pit a bit earlier. Actually, yeah, let's just tell Alex to burn everything, and we'll maybe pit at the end of this lap. Because if he can really just push, maybe see if once he's kind of pushed, he still comes out ahead of Ricciardo. I would be hopeful that we should, or at least around Ricciardo. But we'll let him push for maybe even a lap or two. We'll see what Ricciardo's times have been compared to ours. So our last time was a 1:34. Ricciardo was a 1:55. I'm imagining that takes into account his pit stop. So we need to do better than a 1:34, I would say. Unless I might just come in this lot. You know what? I'm gonna. No, we'll let Alex push. Like 48% is very early to come in on these mediums, so we'll keep pushing and just let him burn up everything for a lap or two, and see where we are in terms of our time difference to Ricciardo, and see if Ricciardo maybe has jumped us with the undercut. I would hope not. We did go faster on that lap, which is good to see. Now that we're burning everything up, we wait to see where Ricciardo comes out. What is Latifi doing? Latifi is racing Sonoda back there. That's cool. Don't really care though, which is really mean to say. But so Ricciardo at a 1:55 there. Let's see what he laps now. He's on the hards. Laps a 1:34, which is slower than us, which is good. Which means we are, in theory, pulling out time ahead of Ricciardo, and if we do pit, we might be able to come out ahead of him. Just need to make sure, again, Alex is going even faster this lap, which is good to see. This might work out then. Though our ERS has just been emptied, which is fine. We kind of expected it around this area. But we'll let him deploy whatever he does manage to make back, so that's fine.
You're doing a good job.
Oh, Latifi overtook. No, he didn't. Okay. They're having a weird fight there, but okay. No, they're fucking just wiggling back and forth. But that's fine. We need to just let Alex run his own race.
That's a position gained for AlphaTauri.
He did go slower. That's kind of expected with those long straights and not having ERS battery. But for now, it's fine. We'll wait to see what he does overall in the lap. And if he goes slower, we'll definitely pull him in at the end of next lap. So 1:34.036 for this lap. When he crossed the line, it's a 1:34.16, so a tenth slower. Let's see what Ricciardo does and see if he actually... We're still faster than what Ricciardo's last lap was, but Ricciardo might have a bit of time getting his tires up to speed. We'll see what he does this lap. Now he's had a couple of laps to put some heat in them, and we'll know if we should be pitting or not. Ricciardo does a 1:34.2. We're still technically faster than Ricciardo, which is good. We'll keep letting him push. Latifi is doing a 1:34.6. So Ricciardo will probably be coming up on him very soon. He's still 2.8 seconds. We're going to maybe switch Latifi to kind of slow him down, but not really any point when there's still just about 3 seconds in it. So we'll maybe actually call Alex in this lap, because obviously he's not really generating battery and his times will probably just go down from here, which is fine. We'll switch to the hard tires just a lap early. We'll let Latifi push, burn some of his extra, and even we'll let him deploy his battery. And we'll then pull Latifi in probably at the end of next lap. Get those tires on and see where we come out. We managed to get out straight away, which is good. I was worried we might get blocked a bit with the pit lane being so busy. But we seem fine. And we're being told it's Latifi's optimal pit stop lap, so we'll tell him to pit. And let's see... I don't know where Ricciardo is. I think that's Ricciardo coming through now, and we've managed to stay ahead of Ricciardo. Fantastic. those couple of laps staying out, being able to push, absolutely crucial. We'll not let him push these tires too hard, but we'll go aggressive again, and we will let him deploy his battery just to try and break a bit of that Ricciardo slipstream.
Full deploy.
Oh, Ricciardo making a move, but we're fine. We're fine. We're fine. What's Latifi doing? Latifi is battling the two AlphaTauris as best he can, doing the Sonoda wiggle from previous lap. But if on the off chance that Albon does come up the back of Latifi, we don't want him fighting. We don't want to ruin that race with Ricciardo. So we'll tell him not to fight, and in the meantime we will let Alex race Ricciardo. He does seem to be pulling away a little bit, which is good. But we have done a bit of a number on our battery, unfortunately, so we will have to hopefully not let Ricciardo get past us. We would love a couple of laps to recharge that, so we could just try and avoid him, but that may not be possible. TV going into the pits. Let's see how this goes. Should be fine. We haven't had a disastrous pit this whole season yet, bar the one where I feel like it was just the traffic screwed us over. Like, we haven't had a pit that was just sheerly messed up, which is good to see. So I'm never that worried about losing too much time in the pit stops. It's a 2.6 pit stop for Latifi, and he is away. That should be us for the rest of the race, barring anything drastic or a safety car that lets us maybe get a cheap pit stop. But other than that, we are good to go. Alex and Ricciardo will likely fight until the end of the race, as things are. But from what we saw before, Ricciardo didn't have the pace to get past us, even with DRS, so hopefully that will remain the case. Turn Latifi to aggressive, not burn too much life out of those tires. He doesn't need to deploy anymore. We'll let him push because he is apparently 3 laps up on his delta. So as it stands, I will fast forward a little bit here until anything interesting happens. See how this battle with Ricciardo pans out. It does seem to be very close, and I imagine it will likely be very close for this entire race. But we'll have to wait and see. Is that someone in the wall? Was that someone run wide there? It looked like Leclerc running wide there. It was locked up, went wide. Oh, that's a big lock up. He was running in second as well. That is a bad move for Leclerc, and then drops him down all the way to 4th. Oh, to be 4th. What an amazing sight that would be. So as we come into the last 12 or so laps, a lot of people actually were 2-stopping in the end. I'll actually go to the tire history here to see kind of who was. There's been a lot of pit stops. A lot of people were actually 2-stopping. Very, very short stints for some people on the hard tires, which questionable in my opinion. We are now sitting up in 13th with Albon, and Latifi is ahead of both the Aston Martins. So we're going to see how the likes of Norris behind us, Sonoda behind us, actually manage, and Ricciardo has just pulled into the pits as well behind us, how they manage on these fresher tires. I don't think there should actually be that much of a difference. As we can see, our hards are only at 63%, so they're still in decent nick. We shouldn't need to worry too much, I wouldn't think. So I'm actually, and Magnussen has 4 seconds to make up. Let's see what our last track times were. We were a 1:33.17. Magnussen obviously coming out of the pits, so his time is a bit whiffy. And throughout actually all those battles with Ricciardo, we actually managed to make up a bit of ground on Guan Yu Zhou, which was quite nice. We slowly, because just the fact us and Ricciardo were kind of trading DRS back and forth, we were able to make up a decent bit of ground on Zhou and cut that gap down. Don't think we'll get much closer to him now that Ricciardo's pitted and we don't have anyone giving us DRS, but it was actually nice to see us. Like, what I said held true in the fact that we never really saw Ricciardo struggle, took multiple DRS zones to get past us, and then we only really took one to get back past him, which was always really nice to see. So we'd never actually lost that much time. So hopefully we can stick with this. Hopefully we can stick with this, and we will see Magnussen making up maybe a bit of time towards us. But with us running in now fresh air and not having to worry about Battle Ricciardo, we can charge the battery a little bit, meaning we might have a bit to use to defend against Magnussen. So Maybe the one stop might have played into our hands here a little bit. We'll have to wait and see. Once Magnussen closes that gap a little bit, we'll come back and see how we are holding on and what we can do to stop him. So we just got the notification that Magnussen, while he was about 1.5 seconds behind us, locked up, which gives us so much respite as he has to wait for Norris and all to come past him on the track. The Haas team is devastated, but I'm sure down at the Williams garage we are celebrating because that should hopefully guarantee us our 13th position. As that means we now have a 4.3 second gap to Norris. Magnussen was closing our gap at about 0.5 seconds a lap. So with 8 seconds left, or sorry, 8 laps left, 6 laps left, math is hard. We should actually be okay and we'll be able to just leave Norris behind us. And we should hopefully, quote unquote, cruise to a nice 13th place finish, which would be really nice. But we are in no guarantees yet. Who knows what would happen? Someone could crash, Alex or Latifi could lock up a tire, and Norris could just maybe see the opportunity to really burn his tires up and go for that push to 13th. We'll fast forward here, probably to the final lap, and see where we stand. So as we enter the final lap here, we are currently 2.6 seconds ahead of Magnussen, who managed to get past Norris again. We're letting Alex deploy the end of the battery just to make sure that we stay ahead of everyone that we need to stay ahead of. And we are looking really, really good now for a nice, solid 13th finish. Really happy with that, can't complain. We showed that we are really good in the straights. Straight line speed, we completely decimated Ricardo in the McLaren. He struggled to get past us at times, even with DRS, and it was taking him multiple DRS zones to close that gap enough to get behind us, whereas as soon as he got past us, pretty much the next DRS zone, we were right back past him. So, cannot complain with this result, really happy with it. 13th for Albon. Pretty much now his average finishing position, I feel like, whenever I'm actually doing a race. Latifi 18th as well. He has actually handily left those two Aston Martins in the dust behind him, which is good to see. It means I would say we are definitely not the worst car anymore, which is really nice to say. And as we can see, Leclerc is actually not that far behind us, and I want to say maybe on pure pace, if it stays like this coming up this final corner, I think this might be the first race, like without any incidents, without any safety cars and all, that actually we haven't been lapped. I'll need to look back at the race report for that, but that does sound true. Obviously the last person Leclerc actually managed to lap was Magnussen, so that means we are the lowest we can finish now is 13th, which is fantastic. Really happy with that, absolutely ecstatic that I felt like this was a good race to be like, yep, the car is getting there, the car, like, we're seeing these positive upgrades. I know I said that last time, but I think some of those races in between, like Monaco and Azerbaijan, really hurt. Is they just didn't play up to the strengths of our car, but Silverstone did, and I'm really happy to see that. Why am I following Leclerc? Follow my boy Alex. Double A there, should hopefully come home in 13th. I'm not going to sit here and narrate the end of this lap because that's a lot. This is still quite a while to go. Let's put it on 2 times speed. It's good to see. It's fantastic to see. Really happy with how the car is progressing. We do have another big upgrade coming down the line. Alex is going to be the last person to finish, which is fine. Go on, catch Zoe. Catch him. Oh, no. A man can dream. But no, that's fine. 13th, happy enough. 18th with Latifi, beating both the Aston Martins. I think we are definitely not the worst car anymore. So that's really good to see.
What a pleasure it was to watch Alex Albon on the track. And an amazing result to match.
Final race result then ends up being Charles manages to make up for not getting pole to win again, with Sainz finishing second, the Red Bulls holding position, Lewis, Valtteri, Fernando, and we have Ocon, Pierre making up 11 places after his grid penalty with the one stop. Fantastic result for him. 11 places is a monster fucking race. George, disappointing 10th place. We have Mick, Oh, that might. Oh, Mick got 11th. I think that might put him ahead of Alex now in the constructors or in the drivers' championship. We had Joe in 12th, us, Alex in 13th, K-Mag 14th, Lando 15th, Yuki 16th, Daniel Ricciardo 17th, Nicholas TV 18th, Stroll and Vettel making up 19th and 20th. Can't complain in terms of drivers. It does indeed mean that we are knocked down to 17th in the drivers behind Mick. The only way we're getting ahead of Mick now is pretty much if we score a point, which is fine. I want to score a point by the end of the season. If we go through this entire season without scoring a point, I'll be so sad. But other than that, look, Charles just extends his lead. He now has a near 50-point lead at the top, with Carlos slowly behind him. Red Bulls just aren't really putting it together this season, which is weird to see, because I think in my season they are pretty close, or in my Ferrari save they are very, very close. And then the constructors, it's just, again, Ferrari just pulling away slowly but slowly, pretty much taking max points in most races at this point. Mercedes having their own race in third, and then kind of the battle for fourth. AlphaTauri maybe doing their own thing in sixth, and then kind of the rest, let's say. So I shall see you next time, or I shall see you back at the main menu screen. I'm going to drop all these results in my handy dandy Excel spreadsheet, and I shall see you to talk about where we're going to come back next time and what we're going to do in the interim. So we have two projects currently going on. We have an underfloor on the way, and we have a front wing on the way, as well as our side pod design slowly coming in. I want to say we are at, what's that, 44 days, 36 days. Where can I see? Here, yes. So 44 days takes us to just before the Belgian Grand Prix. That is about halfway through the summer break, which I don't think is actually implemented in this game. If it is, I admit. If it is, maybe we don't come back for the... Okay, where we come back might depend on if this game has the summer break or not. If it does, we'll come back whenever both those designs are done. If it doesn't, we will be back for the Belgian Grand Prix. So we'd probably be Belgium or maybe Singapore. I'm hoping Belgium. I'm hoping that this game doesn't have the summer break, but I can understand if it does. Those are quite big upgrades. Kind of what I've learned from playing the game and reading about the game and watching other people play the game, that the underfloor is the bee's knees pretty much in terms of what it does, or what it is the biggest sweeping change you can probably make to your car. It is the most impactful part you can design, which makes sense considering the ground effect on the cars this year with the new specs. So hopefully our third iteration of the underfloor will be a really big improvement, and we might actually see some serious changes in our position in terms of the grid. But we will have to see. We're actually rushing this through. I rushed it through thinking, oh, we can get this in for Belgium, not realizing or forgetting that summer break might be a thing. But hopefully it's not, and hopefully that's going to be fine. Other than that, I don't think we have any facility upgrades on the go. Oh, we do. Sorry. There are a couple of facility upgrades on the go, which is fine. In the meantime, we are probably going to, yes, come back for either the Belgian Grand Prix if there is a summer break, or maybe later whenever those upgrades are done if there isn't a summer break. But for now, it is a goodbye from myself. Hopefully we'll keep pushing on, keep going. We've got this in the bag. We'll maybe have points eventually. I would like to hope we are scoring points by the end of the season at least once, and well, at least once on pure pace. I think we might lock into points with a safety car at the right time or the weather, but I would like to hope by the end of the season we have scored points on pure pace, which would be nice if it happens. But the car's maybe not developing as fast as I could, which is why I've really focused on some of these facility upgrades, because they're going to let us do more. They're going to let us do, the design center lets us do more designs, and then these things will make us do better designs. So that's all really important. But for now, it is goodbye for myself. I will see you either in Belgium or Singapore, depending if there's a summer break or not. Thanks for tuning in. Join me again next week, and I shall see you then.